Hi, everyone, and thank you for attending the BDS Assisted Sales live stream today. My name is Scott, and I'm your host. This is the first time I'm hosting this show, and I'm very privileged and honored to be selected to do this for the company. Today's show is going to be 30 to 35 minutes long, and we are going to go through a few sections. One, we're going to talk about BDS and its culture. Two, we're going to talk about the ASR and a day in the life. And three, we're going to talk about some essential interviewing questions that somebody may be leveraging to stand outside of the crowd. And to do all this, I've got two guests with me today. So I will introduce them in a few minutes. But first, let's get some housekeeping items out of the way. First, we've got the comments and the question section that I see some people already using. So please use that during the show. That would be great. If you have questions, please post up there. If you had registered for the show and you got a confirmation email, please make sure you complete the survey link because you will be entered into a random drawing for one of two gift cards for $250 each. I will be posting a video next Wednesday on the winners of those the drawing. And last, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell on our YouTube channel so you don't miss any other uploads in the future from BDS. So, last point here is let's warm up that chat box. So I want to know where everybody's coming from. State, you put your state and city, that would be great. That will give us an idea of who's all on the live show with us today. I'm Irvine, California, and that is about 45 minutes south of Los Angeles. So my first guest today, her name is Katie, and she is the Senior Director of Talent Acquisition. So I'm going to have her come into the show, and we're going to go through some of the questions. Hi, Katie. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me, Scott.
Great. I'll let you introduce yourself. If you could just share with the audience what you do for BDS, your background, how long you've been with the BDS family.
Sure. So I have been with BDS for about 3 years now, and I am responsible for all of the recruitment and talent acquisition for both our fields positions, so our ASRs, which we're here to talk about today, as well as all of our corporate positions.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. And a little bit about your background?
So I have actually been in the industry for over 25 years. I have a really strong background in high volume staffing, so it is my jam. So when we sit and talk about assisted selling reps, this is the stuff that gets me going.
Awesome. Great. Well, welcome to the show. This is going to be awesome. So let's dive right into it. We've got a couple questions for you. So how do you explain what BDS does?
Sure. Well, I think BDS does a couple of different things. First and foremost is really helping drive sales for our clients. And we do that in a couple of different ways. One is by training retail sales associates on our products so that if we're not inside of the store environment, that if a customer were to come up and ask one of the sales associates a question, that sales associate knows absolutely everything and anything there is to know about that position or about that product, excuse me. And then the second piece of it is training the customer on the products, again, with the hopes of driving the sales and really helping that customer understand the product features. I think one of the programs we're going to talk about today is our iRobot program, which is a really good example that if we've got ASR reps inside of the store talking to the consumers about the iRobot, they're really helping them understand if they have a pet or a cat or if they have hardwood floor, which of the iRobot products would work best for them in their everyday living.
Awesome. Great. Okay. And how would you describe the company culture with BDS?
Sure. I would say the company culture to me is just an extremely fun environment to work in. There aren't a ton of jobs where you get to go store to store to store, interacting and building relationships with tons of individuals out there. The other piece of it is that we work for some really cool clients, and so that are very innovative. And so with that, I think it's something that we're always striving to do is continue to be innovative in the way that we're going about helping and support our clients to meet the overall goals of the program.
Hmm. Perfect. And so our audience listening into the show right now are really wanting to understand what is an assisted sales rep, an ASR. So can you explain that role?
Sure. So I think we've got a bunch of different ASR reps that we're in the process of filling right now. Q4 tends to be our extremely busy time because of the holidays. So our clients are really coming to us to help drive sales during that holiday time, and also recognize that the retail environment, there is a lot of traffic coming in and out of the stores on a daily basis for individuals that are doing that holiday shopping. And so, depending on the program or product that the ASR rep is working on, it varies a little bit. But ultimately, during this Q4 time, we're typically looking for assisted selling reps to go inside of the stores. Usually, it's a designated retailer, whether that be Best Buy, Lowe's, Bed Bath and Beyond. It kind of varies again by the program, but usually going in Friday evenings, Saturdays and Sundays during those very high traffic times, and typically setting up right near the end cap or the product in which we're going to be promoting, and then just talking to the consumers about the product and really finding a way to build that connection with them, which is such a huge piece of this, right? Building that connection with the consumer to help them understand why this product is something that might benefit them in the future, or if it's going to be a gift for somebody for the holidays. Really, again, just helping drive the sales for those overall products for our clients.
So basically, if I had to distill this down, an ASR is really enhancing the purchase journey of somebody going into store and having a hands-on experience with the brand and products that they're interested in, right?
Absolutely. I think that you hit it right on the head. There is so much data out there that talks about if somebody is helping actually guide that journey and really show the ins and outs of the product feature, um, there is a much higher likelihood that somebody is going to want to buy that product when all is said and done at the end of the day. And so the assisted selling reps that we hire actually play a huge role in us meeting the goals of our client.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned iRobot. Are there any other brands that you can share with us that we are working with?
I sure can. So a couple of the other ones that we're working with right now is Facebook, because I'm sure everybody knows we're doing a bunch of work for them, and it's actually some of the programs that we do are not just necessarily a Q4 seasonal program, but it's also year-round work that we're doing from an assisted selling rep perspective. And then we have a new client that we just acquired, which is in the headphone space, wireless headphones that we're helping promote. And then one of the other big ones that we're doing right now is a smart lock, which seems to be all the rage right now when you talk about everybody having all of the smart home devices inside of their house. So just really fun products to be able to talk to the consumers about.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Well, before I let you go, I do have some other questions, not specific to ASR, but our second guest is going to pick up some additional questions around the ASR role. So my question to you is, what are some interviewing tips that you could share with us that a candidate could leverage and utilize to make sure that they stand out of the crowd and really dial in on getting that position with BDS?
Sure. So I have three to me that stick out. One of them is coming prepared. As somebody who is interviewing people all day long, there is something very refreshing about coming into an interview with somebody who has not only researched the client and the company, but has also researched and not researched, but has taken the time to prepare themselves for what they want to present from their previous experience, and really being able to get to the nuts and bolts of the work that they've done in the past to be able to help show that interviewer what their previous experience entails, so that we can easily come to determine, is this a good fit, not only for the organization, but also for you as the interviewee. The other thing I would say, and this probably really is newer now, I think, just with everything going on and knowing that majority of our interviews now are all virtual, I definitely think there is something to be said for treating that interview no different than you would if you were to be walking into a brick and mortar building. And that means presenting yourself as best you can, getting ready in the morning, making sure that you've got a nice looking background, that you're ready to be on camera, and that you're enthusiastic and energetic while you're conducting that interview, even though it is via video. But for me, that's such an important piece in the work that we're doing, because we're looking for the individuals that want to go in store and are going to be hyped up to sell our clients' products and really be able to talk to the consumers. And that building a relationship piece is such a key piece to the individuals that we're hiring. And then last but not least, I would say ask questions. It's really important that as we are hiring for our roles, again, that we're finding individuals that it's not just a good fit for the organization, but it's a good fit for the individuals that we're hiring. And that comes with asking questions. It also is twofold, that it shows that you're prepared, that you've done your research, and that you've got those questions to be able to ask at the end.
Awesome. That's great. So if I could recap real quick. So you identified 4 skills. 1, be prepared before you come to the interview. 2, if you have experience from previous jobs, make that linkage into the role that we're asking for today. 3, ask a lot of questions. And 4, be camera ready. And if you're wondering what camera ready means, there are a ton of YouTube videos on how to get the right lighting, the right camera, the right microphone. So you don't have to spend a lot of money, and you don't spend a lot of money at all on this stuff. It's just getting you camera ready for an interview. All right, great. I appreciate it. And then I have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Why is it a great time to work at BDS?
Sure. Right now is an awesome time to come work at BDS. We are growing our programs. And when I talk about the number of openings that we have, you guys, we are currently hiring 700 people, both on our seasonal work as well as our market development managers that are either full-time positions, part-time positions, corporate positions. The list goes on and on and on. And it's a great time to get in with the organization and really to be able to, for those of you that are interested, whether it be supplemental income for the holiday, or if you're looking to actually build your career in this industry, now is a great time. And I think BDS is a great place to do it.
Awesome. Okay, great. And with 700 openings, how fast are we hiring?
That is a great question. And the great news is we are hiring very quickly. We have a lot of our positions that are actually looking to kick off mid-October. And so with that being said, as quickly as individuals are applying, we're conducting interviews and hiring individuals on the spot, which is fantastic. And we're trying to get individuals in the store shortly after they clear onboarding. Making sure that we've got individuals through training so that they have a full understanding of the product, the key messaging, all of those things that our employees need to be successful inside of the store. But that process in itself sometimes can take as short as 1 week from the time that somebody applies to the time that we're able to get them in the store.
Okay, awesome. And we have a question from the crowd. I'm just going to jump in and ask it because we're already on this topic. Will video interviews occur now, or will it still be over the phone?
So for most of our programs, we are doing video interviews. The only one thing that I will say is because we do have such a high volume of hiring that we're doing right now, and also are trying to be very mindful of our candidates and applicants' time, there is many times where our recruiters are just going to pick up the phone and they're going to just start dialing. And if the applicant that we're talking to is free to talk on the phone at that moment and run through the program details and do a quick interview, we're going to do it right there, just so individuals don't have to come back for an interview.
That makes sense. Okay, perfect. And my last question for you, what's your favorite color?
Pink.
All right.
On Wednesdays, we wear pink.
I love it. That's perfect. Thank you so much, Katie. I appreciate it. We're going to push you off to the off stage and then bring Kristen on as my second guest. And then towards the end, we're going to bring both of them back for a Q&A. So Kristen, hi, how are you?
Hi, Scott. I'm well.
Good. Thank you for attending the show. Kristen is a client partnership manager, and I'm going to allow her to introduce herself, what she does for the company, a little bit about her background, and how long she's been with the company.
Oh, the titles. Yeah, client partnership manager. So for the iRobot account. So what that means is that I am the primary contact for iRobot, and I oversee the strategy of their field marketing program as well as the execution of their program. So I've been with BDS for just over 6 years. I've been in the industry for, math, over 15 years. Okay. But, I joined it and never looked back. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, a lot of us do that, right? So now you probably work directly with a lot of ASRs in regards to your program, right?
I do, yep.
Okay, great. So I'm glad you're our guest today, because my question to you is, what does a day in the life of an ASR look like?
Well, the overview is they have a lot of fun. So a day in the life, a lot of people are coming to us in part-time roles, like Katie mentioned. It's Friday, Saturday, Sundays. So making sure that they have their equipment, they drive to the store. They get to partner with the retailer that they're working in to be able to find a setup. We love it when they're in an area where they can really hit a lot of shoppers and give them that introduction into our product. And then they get to have a lot of fun talking to people. It's all about creating brand experience and creating positive brand experience for these shoppers. And so they get to do that in a lot of creative ways and just have a lot of fun showing off the product. iRobot has a really cool new product that they just launched 2 weeks ago. And that's the one that we're going to be demoing this year and just ensuring that it's a success. So after they have all the fun, we do ask for a little bit of reporting. So snapping some pictures, letting us know how the shift went, and then they get to break it down and do it again the next day.
So it sounds like we're working with a lot of innovative and fun brands that you can find at Best Buy, Walmart, Costco, Samsung, all of those big retailers. Is that right?
It is. Technical, fun products, which is exactly why we need these ASRs.
So what's happening in the industry now where brands are in demand for this type of ASR help at the store level?
Yeah. What we see in the data is that experiences matter, those touch points with products, and recommendations matter. So we have data points showing that about 93% of shoppers on their journey to purchase products, 93% go in store at some point because everybody wants that hands-on experience. And then once they're in stores, we're showing that 74% of those shoppers engage with a sales associate. So whether that's an ASR working with our programs or the store personnel, 74% of them are engaging with a sales associate and say the recommendation matters. It truly helps them decide which product is right for them, and making sure that they go home as a happy customer.
Yes, I agree with that. Yeah, that's awesome. So what kind of advice do you have for our audience in regards to the top 3 skills someone would need to be successful in an ASR role?
have one. You just got to be personable. That's really what we're looking for. We just need personable. You know, we can teach you the product. We can get you comfortable with being in the stores. But we really need you to be able to create those fun interactions that we've been talking about.
Yes.
So just being able to relate to the shoppers.
And that's great for our brands, right, that we're representing, because they stand apart from other brands. Now that we have somebody in the store that's well-trained, they know how to engage with a customer and talk about the brand and the product that they're representing, it just makes that experience so much better. And customers are wowed and they're like, oh my gosh, this is a great experience. I've never really experienced that with other types of brands that I'm looking at. You can't get that experience on Amazon, but you can start looking at the connections and how you can bring people from online to retail. It's a really great time to work for BDS and be in this industry. So what if somebody wanted to grow with BDS and they started as a part-time ASR? What kind of typical paths have you seen employees go through and do other types of roles within BDS? Do you have any stories to share with us?
I have the best story. It's my own story.
Perfect.
I started as a part-time ASR way back when, and then went through the rakes, did the part-time ASR, and then I was a field marketing representative on a full-time basis. From there, went into a supervisor role, and then a regional manager role, and then a national manager role, and now I am the client partnership manager. And it's not just my own story. Like I'm not a unicorn, you guys. There are many stories that I've been able to be a part of in growing people's careers within our own program, and building them up through the iRobot ASR program into our dedicated full-time team, and really pulling them into the fold. Once you come into the program, you're family, and we're going to keep growing you from there.
Yeah, that's a great descriptor. Family means a lot to a lot of people. And, when people are interviewing for a job, they're interviewing the company also to make sure that it is a family-oriented culture. And BDS is such a great company to work for. It's awesome. My last question for you, Kristen, before we jump into the Q&A is, are you a morning person or a night owl?
Night owl. Total night owl. My team will tell you I send late emails.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate your insights. This was awesome. I'm going to bring Katie back in, and we're going to go through some Q&A. And I think we have a couple questions coming in. We will see if any questions come in here from the crowd. Come on with your questions. Post them up in the chat. If not, we will close out the show. Do you guys see any questions that you want to address? Okay. No questions from the crowd. All right. So I will. So we do have a question from the chat. Are the ASR positions mostly part-time or full-time?
So our ASR positions are typically part-time, majority of them seasonal work, but our market development manager positions tend to be full-time and part-time dedicated positions. And we have plenty of those that we are in the process of hiring also. The really nice thing is, if you guys haven't had an opportunity to go out to the BDS website and look on the careers page, there's a couple different ways that you can do it. When you get there is you can search by full-time, you can search by part-time, you can search by job title, or you can search by location. And if when you're out there, if there isn't anything that piques your interest or in your area, you're able to also join our talent community so that you guys can stay in stay on top of mind if there's any other openings that become available, where you can ask the system to send you an email if something comes up that is in your market and the type of work that you're looking for.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's great. Let's see. We have another question. When is the program starting, and for how long? I believe this is probably for the iRobot that you had mentioned.
Sure. So iRobot is starting in a couple weeks. We actually have a couple different waves that we're doing. We've got one that I think, and Kristen can probably answer it better, I think is launching in a couple weeks. And then our second launch is happening, I believe, in 3 weeks, and we'll go all the way through the end of the year. Some of our other ASR positions actually are rolling into the new year and end closer towards the middle of January.
Okay.
The nice thing is, because all of them are so different from the start date and the end date, and we've got some programs where people are jumping on board as quickly as we're hiring them, so it's kind of more of a fluid start date. There is a lot of flexibility with the positions that we have.
And these positions are all over the United States, for lack of a better word, right?
They are. Yep. We hire in all 50 states. We've got people deployed all over.
Okay, great. A question came through on the chat. Are all of these sales jobs on weekends only?
No. So there are some, for instance, the one that I was talking about with the smart lock, that is actually work that takes place during the week, which is really nice for those individuals that are maybe have a full-time job and they just want to snag a couple of extra hours during the week, where it would actually just be going into, depending on your market and the number of stores, but you would be going into each store within your market for 45 minutes. 2 times a month, once in the first half of the month, once in the back half of the month. So if you had 5 stores, you would be working a total of 10 to 12 hours by the time all of your recapping is done. So that is just some nice extra fun work to be able to do. And then a lot of the dedicated programs that we have, actually the work takes place during the week. That's typically when we like to go in and train the sales associates, because the traffic tends to be a little bit lower. And a lot of the assisted selling that we're doing for the customers, we tend to do on the weekends when traffic is really high.
Got it. Okay. There's another question that came in. I think it's a great question. How many can I apply for? More importantly, how many teams can I be on at once? Who wants to answer that?
Well, you can apply for any and all positions. So if there's 10 out there that pique your interest, by all means, please feel free to apply to all 10 of them. And then as far as the number of programs that you can work, it varies by hours and the schedule. So if you're applying for 3 positions and all of them are on the weekends at the same exact time, at that point we would have you just pick the one that is most interesting to you. For instance, on the smart home that I was talking about and Kristen's iRobot program, we have a lot of individuals that are doing the smart lock during the week. They're doing the iRobot program on the weekend, and they might be doing a different program for us for the headphones also during the week. So as busy as people want to be is as busy as they can be, which is great.
That's great. That's awesome. I think that means a lot to a lot of people. They just don't want to maybe be on one project for a short amount of time. They can bounce around and be on multiples as long as their schedule fits it all. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's great. Another question is, what if I need a flexible schedule week to week? Can that be accommodated, or does it have to be the same schedule every week?
So that I would say too, that also varies by program. There are some of our programs where it is very flexible based on your schedule. We have some programs where, depending on the retailer, we have certain hours that we need to be in the store. And then we also have certain clients that we're working for that request that we're in the store at certain times. The really nice thing is, though, again, if you go to the website, even if you are applying for a position, when the recruiter gives you a call, they will walk you through all of those program details. And if for whatever reason that program doesn't fit your schedule, they would be more than happy to talk to you about any other positions that are in your market. Or if nothing else, be able to, again, just keep your resume on file and pass it along. We have a team of, I believe, 30 recruiters. So there's lots of us behind the back end that are all just working together to get these positions filled.
Wow. You guys are busy.
We are.
That's awesome. And I have one more question here. This person might be a part-time role with BDS right now. Their question is, what would be the advice for them to become a full-time employee moving forward after their position is over as a part-timer?
Sure. A couple of different things. I would highly recommend that you stay connected with your recruiter that you initially spoke to about the position, because those are the ones that are going to know all of our upcoming openings and opportunities. My other thing I would say, for all of our ASR positions, there will be a regional manager that each ASR is tied to. And the nice thing is the way that we have this for most of our programs is a regional manager oversees a certain region. So for instance, myself in Wisconsin, if I were to work on 5 different programs or products, I would have the same regional manager for all 5 of those. So I really start to build a connection with that individual. So those are really going to be your cheerleaders and your advocates when it comes time to looking for other work within the organization. The other piece of it too is we do a phenomenal job, or at least I think so, of really making sure that we're sharing all of the positions that we have. So we've got weekly bulletins that we're sending out to both our corporate staff and our field staff about openings, and making sure that we're singing them from the rooftop as much as we can so that everybody has visibility to them and then can just go right online and apply as an internal applicant.
Awesome. Great. That's great. I have 2 more questions and then we will wrap it up because we are close to our time here. My second to last question is, can you do more than one store visit per day as an ASR?
Yes. So that would be very similar, depending on the program, depending on the client, depending on the retailer, and depending on the hours. Absolutely. One thing I will say is there is a lot of flexibility with the positions that we're doing. And specifically when I think about iRobot, we absolutely recognize that over the course sometimes of a 12-week period, there might be something that comes up on a Saturday, whether somebody is sick or they've got plans for a graduation or grandma's birthday or whatever the case may be. And there are either makeup days that we allow individuals to work to, one, catch up on the hours that they may have missed, but also catch up on those execution days. Or 2, we've got individuals that may say, I can't work this Saturday, but I can do a double shift on Sunday. And that is absolutely fine with us. That is something that the employee would work directly with their regional manager on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. And the last question for the Q&A session. Are all of these positions only in big box retailers? If you don't know what a big box retailer is, it's like Best Buy, Walmart, the big regional, international, international companies. So are they only in big box retailers?
Yes. But I'll give a little bit of a caveat to that. I would say 90% of the work that we do is in big box retailers. Okay. I will say we've got a really cool program that we're doing right now for an air purifier, where they are actually in the process of building a tiny house that we are putting in the mall parking lot, and we are going to be staffing that so that consumers can come in through this tiny house and really experience the air purifiers. So that not being a big box retailer, but close because it's at the mall. So cool stuff. I mean, again, goes back to kind of the innovation that we're constantly thinking of.
Awesome. Great. Well, that concludes our show today. I want to thank Katie and Kristen. You were superstars. That was an awesome interview. I loved all the information you were providing the audience. I even learned a few things myself. So before we close out, I just wanted to remind everybody to fill out that survey that they received when they confirmed to watch the show with us today. Fill out that short survey in order to be entered into the random drawing for one of 2 gift cards. It's $250 Visa gift cards. So you don't want to miss out on that. I will announce the winners next week, next Wednesday, on a video post. I will just post it on the BDS channel on YouTube. So the best thing you can do is like and subscribe and ring that bell on our YouTube channel so you don't miss the announcement and future shows like this. So I appreciate everybody. Thank you so much and have a great and safe rest of the week. Bye, everyone.